Okay, welcome everybody. If you're here live or you're on, I guess live, opposite of live would be Facebook. This is our 6th Dangerous Love Forum, and today we'll be talking about conflict escalation. And lucky for everybody, you will not have to listen to me this time. We're going to have our other qualified, very prestigious facilitator, Maddie Grames, teach us today. And so I'm going to pass it over to her, and she's going to take it from here.
He's literally going to pass it over to me. Hi, everyone. Hello. Okay, it's so nice to see you all. Yeah, we decided to spice things up this week and have me teach instead of TK. So let me just share my screen real quick with all of you. Can everyone see this? Okay. One moment. Okay. Okay, so this week we're going to be talking about conflict escalation, and this is going to kind of be building off of what we learned last week about our fear of people and conflict and how we can let go of that fear. So there's kind of going to be one quote that's the foundation for today. And one sec, coming in. Okay, and so that's how we see others, and then how we treat them powerfully influences how others see us. So to start off, one sec. Oh, for some reason, it's not letting me. Okay. So when we choose to see others as it's, other consequences naturally begin to unfold, and that's how conflict becomes destructive. So if you feel like someone is seen and treating you as an it, how are you likely to see them and treat them in response, do you think? Someone just jump in and say what you think.
The exact same, the exact same way.
Yeah, exactly. So if someone sees you as an it, you're probably going to want to treat them and see them in the same way. Exactly. Thank you, Alexa. So we're going to kind of illustrate this through something we call a conflict tornado and how this idea of seeing someone as an it can escalate our conflicts. And to do this, I'm going to share kind of a little example with you all. So I'm a college student, obviously, and I live in a house of 10 girls. You know what 10 girls means? It means 10 times the amount of dishes that have to get done every week. And I hate dirty dishes. So let's say I have a roommate and she leaves her dishes out and she doesn't clean them. If she does this behavior, how am I going to see her, do you think?
As an it.
Yeah, as an it, exactly. And what do you think I might do back to her if I'm seeing her as an it?
Not do the dishes.
Yeah, I'm going to do something. I'm going to invite the same behavior. So I might not do my own dishes, or let's say I might start saying snide remarks to her. I might be starting to treat her passive aggressively, say how much I wish there was a clean house. I'm living with children. Say a bunch of things so that she can get the message. And so if I do this to her, how do you think she's going to react in turn?
Probably defensively. She might make like snide comments back or comments on like how you should just tell her.
Exactly. Yeah, it's going to influence her behavior and she's going to do something back to me by seeing me as an it. So let's see, she starts saying snide remarks and she continues to leave her dishes out now, even worse than before. Now she goes 10 days without washing them. Things get really gross. And what do you think I'm going to do back?
The cycle just kind of keeps going.
Exactly. Yes, the cycle keeps going. So this time I might send a passive aggressive text to the group chat. I say, hey, these dishes need to get done. No one's doing them. It's really gross. I might not even confront her. I might just send a passive aggressive text. So in turn to that, she's going to do something else. This time she's going to send something back. Maybe she'll call me out. She says, Maddie, you never sweep the floor. You should do this more. So what am I going to do? Well, first I'm going to sweep the floor so she can't call me out anymore. And then I'm going to put the dishes in her bed, because everyone knows that's how you get someone to do the dishes. I'm going to put them in her bed. That'll teach her a lesson, but it doesn't. So she just takes the dishes, she hides them, and so I can't cook anymore. And then what am I going to do? I'm sick and tired of that behavior, so I'm going to report her to the honor code. I'm going to report her to my landlord. I'm going to get her kicked out of my house. So as you can see, our conflict kind of escalated from something super small, and by us seeing each other as an it blew out of proportion. So now I'm all the way at reporting my roommate. And so that's one way our conflicts can escalate, by seeing each other as an it. But there's another way that they can as well, and that's through gathering allies. And we've talked about this a lot with Dangerous Love, and how we're in a conflict, we often pull people in, and we want people on our side. So let's say I start to complain to my mom about my roommate. I do that a lot. I always complain to my mom about things. And let's say my roommate does the same thing. She pulls in her parents too. And maybe I get some of the other girls that live in my house to get mad as well. And so now we have other people involved. She does the same thing. And now I go outside and I talk to some of my other friends and tell her about my terrible roommate. And she does the same thing as well. So we can see here that the conflict has not only grown between us, but now it's affecting multiple other relationships with different people as well, as we pull in allies. Okay, and so it's question time. So who in this tornado needs to change?
Yeah.
What was that? Sorry, I didn't hear.
Oh, both of you.
Yeah, both of us. But who in this tornado thinks they need to change?
I think
The other person needs to change.
Yeah, we both think the other person is at fault here, right? And so who is likely to change if we both think those things?
No one.
No one. So if we both think that we don't need to change, how long is this going to go on for?
Forever.
It's just going to keep spiraling. And so if we were going to go back to all the way to the beginning of this tornado and ask myself what it is I wanted out of all of this, what would that have been?
That they do their part.
Yeah, they do the dishes. And considering where we are now in this conflict, am I getting that? No, yeah, exactly. I'm not getting that. And so we can see the way that I reacted to her not doing the dishes, and by seeing her as an it, invited back the same behavior that I didn't want. I wasn't even inviting the behavior that I wanted. What am I getting instead?
What you don't want.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just getting conflict, right? I'm doing a bunch of things that I originally didn't want to do. And so now it's your turn. I want you guys to think of 2 or 3 things that someone in your life does that annoys you or causes conflict. You might not be in a big escalated conflict right now, but just 2 or 3 things that you think could potentially get you into a conflict tornado. And we're also going to have you write out your own conflict tornado. Now, this can be a conflict that already happened and you clearly know, kind of what you did and what that other person did, or just a potential one that you could see happening. I'm just going to give you guys about 3 minutes to write those down. Okay, and just let me know when you guys are ready. Is everyone close to writing theirs down?
Wait, so we were supposed to write like 2 or 3 things that annoys us, and then what was the second part?
And then put them out in your own conflict tornado.
Okay, so like what we do, what they do, what we do, what they
Yeah,
do.
like this. And so we have an action that they do, and if I'm seeing them as an it, what would I do? And continuing all the way up. And you can just write out 1 or 2 or 3. You don't have to do a full conflict tornado. Okay, so I think we're just going to keep going. If you didn't finish, that's okay. You can always complete it later. We're just gonna keep going, and we're gonna talk about costs a little bit of conflict. And obviously keeping a conflict tornado going takes work. Obviously, I'm putting in the work here. I'm putting dishes in people's beds. I'm sending texts. I'm reporting my roommate to my landlord. I'm obviously putting work into this conflict. And so what things am I sacrificing to keep my conflict going? And you guys could even answer, what things do you sacrifice when you have a conflict? Anyone can just jump in. What do you guys think?
I think I sacrificed my peace of mind.
Of course, yeah, peace of mind is a huge one. That's probably in any conflict we're sacrificing some sort of peace of mind. Awesome. Anyone else?
I would also say, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I would also say time as well, because like you're taking the time to like do all these like extra little things just to like irk her, but really it's just like costing you time.
Time is a huge one. I probably would love the free time that not doing these things would give me, but instead I'm putting time into this conflict. Exactly. And what was the other comment we had?
I was going to say time as well, but I also thought of energy. Like
Yeah.
we've put so much energy and so much passion to what we're doing, but at the end of the day, we're really drained.
Yeah, energy is a huge one in conflict. So we can see we have sleep, relationships, health, time, mental well-being, resources. All these things are kind of costs that we get from conflict. And so how does understanding the conflict tornado help us? I want to talk about this for a second because we've learned 2 big things today, is that seeing someone as an it within conflict actually invites the same behavior we once complained about and what we claimed we don't want within a conflict. So that mindset can definitely just invite adverse behaviors that we actually don't want. And 2, that conflicts cost us a lot of things. A lot of facets of our life can be affected by conflict and therefore bring us a lot of costs. And so we're going to come back to this quote that we talked about in the beginning. And that's how we see others, and then how we treat them powerfully influences how others see us. And this works for conflict escalation, as we've seen, but this can also be a powerful tool for de-escalation and when we're getting out of the conflict. So say someone does, so like my roommate, she doesn't do the dishes and she's seen me as an it, and I feel that from her. But instead of seeing her as an it back, I decide to see her as a thou, and I treat her as such. And so what do you think will happen when I do that? And instead of acting as I see her as an it, I'm instead treating her as a thou. What do you think will happen?
Should treat you the same.
Yeah, as we saw before, the way we see someone invites that similar behavior from them. And so as you can see, this process can keep going downwards as well until we get out of conflict and our conflict de-escalates. And so we can overcome when we can overcome our self-deception and see another as a thou, we extend a powerful invitation to those we are in conflict with to see us in the same way. And that is how conflict begins to transform from destructive to constructive. And I just want to take a little minute to talk about this and to ask you guys, how does this help us let go of our fear of people in conflict? If we know that overcoming our self-deception and seeing another as a thou, we're extending a powerful invitation to see them in the same way. How can that help us let go of our fear?
I feel like it's knowing, like having the right tools. right? It's if we know how to deal with conflict instead of doing what our natural instincts or behaviors want us to do and behave, then we know like, okay, this is effective and it works. And if we take that conflict tornado and reverse it step by step, then we can see like progress most likely, and more likely the affirmation that what we're doing is actually helping manage the conflict and transforming it.
Exactly, beautifully said. We definitely learning this puts us something in our toolbox so that we can use this in conflict again. It can be really scary when we turn to someone and start to see them as a thou. But if we learned anything today, we learned that the way we see them can extend an invitation to them to help them see us in the same way and hopefully de-escalate our conflict. Did anyone else have any thoughts?
I think just going off of what you said, like what makes us scared of the other person is either like how they're going to respond to us or how it's going to affect our relationship with them or anything like that. But if we know that as we treat them as thous, that they will start treating us the same way, then that fear of ruining a relationship, that fear of how they're going to respond kind of dissolves because we are inviting them to see us as we are seeing them.
Yeah, exactly. That fear, it can definitely be a strong tool to help that fear resolve, knowing that we're giving that invitation to them and extending that to them as well. Okay, awesome. So that kind of wraps up this idea of letting go of our fear of people and how we can hopefully turn to them and start to see them as a thou. And next week, that's what we're going to go into, is how to turn first in these types of conflict. And we actually had homework, but I don't think anyone actually has these worksheets. So we don't have homework. You're off the hook for this week. Thank you for coming. TK, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, does anyone just have any questions about anything that we talked about, or kind of about this idea of overcoming our fear of people? Okay, looks like that's a no. Okay, yeah, well, thanks for coming, guys. Just a reminder for anyone who's interested, who's watching, our field director applications are due this week. So if you're thinking of applying that, they're due tomorrow. And feel free to message us if you have any questions. Anything else, Maddie?
I don't think so. Thank you, everyone, for listening today. It's really fun to teach you all.
Okay,
Thank you.
well, then.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Maddie.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.